Belarus election. State TV claims Lukashenko wins 7th term with 87% votes. Welcome to ARM News. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has reportedly secured 87.6% of the vote, according to state TV, granting him a 7th term in office. This widely criticized election has been labeled by opposition figures as a carefully orchestrated maneuver to extend Lukashenko's nearly 30-year rule. Election under scrutiny campaign posters across Belarus displayed Lukashenko's image with the slogan, "Needed," a stark contrast to the dissenting voices silenced under his regime. Opposition leaders, many of whom are imprisoned or in exile, have dismissed the election as a sham. They likened it to the 2020 election, which sparked months of unprecedented protests in Belarus, leading to a brutal crackdown that saw over 65,000 arrests and widespread reports of human rights abuses. Europe's last dictator, tightens grip. Lukashenko, often referred to as Europe's last dictator, has ruled since 1994, navigating Belarus through Soviet collapse and relying heavily on subsidies from ally Russia. His support for Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine and hosting of Russian tactical nuclear weapons has further alienated Belarus from the West. Despite this, Lukashenko campaigned under the banner of peace and security, claiming to shield Belarus from war. Observers believe Lukashenko intentionally scheduled the election in January, avoiding potential mass protests that are less likely in harsh winter conditions. Opposition silenced with leading opposition figures imprisoned or exiled. The ballot featured 4 challengers, all considered loyal to Lukashenko. Critics described their campaigns as symbolic, further cementing the perception of the election as a facade. Exiled opposition leader Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya condemned the process, calling it a senseless farce and urging world leaders to reject the results. Meanwhile, Belarus faces growing international condemnation. The European Parliament has called on the EU to denounce the election, and media watchdogs have criticized the government's ongoing crackdown on free speech. Tightened restrictions and international isolation. The election was marked by early voting irregularities, restricted internet access, and banned use of VPNs. Ballot boxes were left unguarded, curtains were removed from voting booths, and voters were prohibited from photographing their ballots. Authorities also carried out large-scale police drills ahead of the election, signaling readiness to suppress any dissent. Lukashenko's government initially blocked international election observers, inviting him too late to effectively monitor the process. A nation in transition. Despite claiming he would calmly hand over power to a new generation, Lukashenko has shown no signs of stepping down. His son Nikolai, 20, played a visible role during the campaign, fueling speculation about a potential dynastic transition. As Lukashenko tightens his grip on power, analysts suggest Belarus may become increasingly reliant on Russia, further isolating itself from the West. However, some predict that Lukashenko might seek to restore relations with Western nations to reduce dependence on the Kremlin. For Belarus, the future remains uncertain. As the regime deepens its control, dissent is met with harsher measures, leaving little room for opposition voices.